Welcome to the Carpet Core Measuring and Planning tutorial. There are two types of plan books: carbonised plan books for your final plan handed in with the invoice, and your mud map for doing initial drawings and measurements. Firstly, let's take a look around at your surroundings. Usually the best place to start on any plan is in the main area. If this is a replacement plan, then this is a good time to have a look at the way the job has already been planned previously. So let's get started. Usually the main room is the best room to start in. Let's get the overall, and let's make sure that we round that overall up. One of the biggest keys to a successful plan is writing those measurements down straight away. Watch for those drop backs. These are areas that are longer in the room and wider in the room. The overalls are the most important. Once again, the key is writing these measurements down straight away, detailed and very clearly. Although overalls are the most important, having those drop backs can come in handy later on when you're planning. Once again, we remind you of detail within a plan. The longest and widest measurements are the most important. Watch for those drop backs in every room you measure. Widest points in rooms mean that going into doorways is most important. Measuring to a wall is not necessarily the widest point of a room. The widest point of a room is usually into a door. If this is an existing home, like most homes, you'll have furniture and obstacles to look through. Make sure that if you push your tape measure through, that you check that it has hit the wall to make sure that you've actually got the widest overall. Once again, we measure into the door at the outer side of the door jamb or the inside of the door jamb from the room. Now we've got the completion of our first room, let's start getting the rest of our measurements. Complete the walls as they are and follow the room lines around. Once we start completing our room, the key is to write these measurements in the way they are laid out. This can come in handy later when you need to add extra measurements. If this is a house with carpet off the main room, this is the time to start measuring your hallways. Measuring up the hallway, once again you'll see the measurement, and we will always see that we always round it up. Usually we've got straight lines to work with, so these measurements can be easy. Even if we don't, measuring in straight lines can make angles easy. Now that we've completed this measurement, we can do the overalls into the hallway and off. Usually we just follow the lines around, and this will get us back to our start point. Once again, hallway measurements, doorway jambs are the key to a successful plan. As you can see, writing down the overall of this hallway has allowed us to draw this line that it will allow us to follow this plan all the way back to the start of the main area. This is the key to giving you a starting point for the rest of your plan. Once again, you'll see that we are getting extra measurements here of the width of the hallway. This is the key to an ultimate plan. So finally, you can see that our measuring has allowed us to get an overall run of the room and get our plan back to where we started. Completing hall room measurements off the main plan will usually bring us back to our start point. At this point, we should usually know if we've been measuring correctly. As in this case, if there are stairs, don't forget to get the measurements from doorways and hallway edges over the stairs. Now that we've got some overalls, let's check that we've got all the other areas. Adding in those little extras can come in handy later when you're planning. Distance between walls and doors and staircases can come in handy later. Let's make sure that we've got these measurements. Once again, let's always write down all the information we've got for later. Measuring the position of doors can be ultimately important. Sometimes when we're doing a pattern carpet, having the position of a doorway become important when we're doing a pattern match or plan later. Now we have the doorway of our first bedroom, we can go on and start planning the bedrooms. Once again, check those overalls into doorways and under obstacles. Once again, the importance of getting every measurement is evident here. This room drops out further than the lounge area. Having a look around the outside of a house is sometimes a good idea to get a reference to how the house is laid out. Once again, as in this case, if you're in an existing home, it's always a good idea to take these opportunities to look at the current layout of the carpet. And to help with checking your plan later, don't forget to mark where those overalls go to. So now let's move on and complete the rest of the house. Measuring stairs isn't difficult. Count the number of stairs, first for each type. In general, even with today's ever-changing styles and types of stairs, the key is the overalls, the width and the length over the riser. Even with these winder landings, all you need is the overall. By now you should have a good idea of how you're going to run the carpet. But once again, have a look around and look at the way the existing job has been installed. Not always is this the best way, but more than likely it will be. This concludes this measuring and planning tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will actually run the carpet for this plan that we have completed.